I want you to think about something for a moment. Right now, as you're reading these words, millions of dollars are changing hands around the world. Deals are being made, opportunities are being seized, and fortunes are being built. The question isn't whether abundance exists. It clearly does. The real question is, why does it flow so easily to some people while others struggle their entire lives? Has this ever crossed your mind when you see someone living the life you've imagined for yourself? What if I told you that the only thing standing between you and the wealth you've been dreaming about isn't your education, your background, or even the amount of money currently sitting in your bank account? What if the real barrier is something far more subtle, something happening right now in the space between your ears? This isn't about motivation or inspiration. This is about a fundamental shift in consciousness that has transformed broke, struggling individuals into millionaires and billionaires, often in less time than it takes to complete a college degree. Florence Scovel Shinn, one of the most profound teachers of prosperity consciousness, understood something that most people miss entirely. She wrote that the game of life is a game of boomerangs, meaning that whatever you send out into the universe, whatever you focus your attention and energy on, comes back to you with remarkable precision. This isn't mystical thinking or wishful fantasy. This is about understanding how your mind works, how energy operates, and how the universe responds to the signal you're broadcasting every single moment of every single day. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now, let me share something with you that might sound impossible until you hear the full story. In 1997, there was a man sleeping in his car on the streets of Atlanta. He was broke, rejected, and had every reason to believe that success wasn't meant for people like him. His name was Tyler Perry. Today, that same man owns one of the largest film studios in America and has a net worth measured in billions. What happened between sleeping in that car and owning a studio wasn't luck, and it wasn't a lottery ticket. It was a shift, a profound mental transformation that changed everything about how he saw himself, money, and possibility. Stay with me here, because this is where it gets interesting. Perry's story perfectly illustrates what Shinn called, "There is a supply for every demand." She understood that the universe operates on abundance, not scarcity. There's enough for everyone, but most people are tuned to the wrong frequency. They're broadcasting poverty consciousness while expecting wealth to show up. It doesn't work that way. Perry didn't change his external circumstances first. He couldn't. He was living in a car. He changed his internal reality, his consciousness, his relationship with abundance itself. And once that shifted, everything else followed. What you're about to discover might surprise you, because we're going to explore exactly what that shift looks like, how it happens, and most importantly, how you can experience it yourself. This isn't theory. This is about rewiring the very foundation of how you think about money, success, and what's actually possible for your life, starting right now. Now here's what most people don't understand about transformation. They think it's this long, arduous journey that requires years of therapy, countless self-help books, and maybe a complete life overhaul. But what if I told you that the shift Perry experienced, the one that took him from sleeping in a car to building an empire, took him approximately 8 minutes to truly grasp? Not 8 years, not 8 months, 8 minutes. That's less time than it takes to make a cup of coffee or scroll through social media during a commercial break. This is where the hidden truth reveals itself. The journey from poverty consciousness to prosperity consciousness isn't about accumulating more knowledge. It's about a fundamental reprogramming of how you perceive reality itself. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this deeply when she wrote that, "You must live fully in the now to make your dreams come true." She wasn't talking about some vague mindfulness practice. She was pointing to something far more powerful, the recognition that your financial reality isn't created by your past circumstances or your future worries. It's being created right now, in this very moment, by the thoughts you're thinking and the beliefs you're holding. Think about the impact of that for a second. Every thought you have about money is either opening doors or closing them. Every belief you carry about what's possible for someone like you is either expanding your reality or contracting it. And here's the fascinating part. Most people are running on autopilot, operating from decisions they made about money when they were 7 years old, watching their parents stress about bills, or hearing that money doesn't grow on trees. Those childhood conclusions are still running the show decades later, and they wonder why nothing changes. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. I create transformational content like this that actually shifts your reality, not just surface-level motivation. But there's something even more remarkable that happens when this mental shift occurs. People who experience this transformation start reporting something that seems almost unbelievable at first. They begin to see money showing up within 24 hours, not months later, not after they've hustled for weeks, within a single day. Some call it coincidence. Some find it unsettling, because it challenges everything they thought they knew about how reality works. But Shinn explained it perfectly when she said that there is no time or space in divine mind, therefore the thing you desire is here, now. The moment you shift your consciousness, the manifestation has already occurred. The physical evidence is just catching up to the internal reality you've created. This isn't about denying your current circumstances or pretending you have money when you don't. That's not how this works. This is about recognizing that your current bank account, your current job, your current financial situation, all of it is simply the result of your previous consciousness. It's old news. It's yesterday's thoughts made visible. The real question is, what consciousness are you operating from right now? Because that's what's creating your tomorrow. That's what's determining whether opportunities flow toward you or away from you. That's what's deciding whether you notice the phone call that could change everything, or whether you're too stuck in worry to even pick up. The transformation happens behind the scenes first, in the invisible realm of thought and belief, before it ever shows up in your visible world. And this is precisely why most people miss it. They're looking for external change while maintaining the same internal patterns. They want different results while thinking the same thoughts. They want abundance while speaking poverty. It simply doesn't work that way. Now, I want to go even deeper into this because what I'm about to share with you reveals exactly how this shift occurs at a neurological level and why it creates such rapid, tangible results in your physical reality. Write in the comments, "I'm ready for this shift," if what I'm sharing is resonating with you right now. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. That's what it does best. It scans your environment constantly, looking for evidence that confirms what you already believe to be true. This is where things get fascinating. When someone experiences that mental shift we've been talking about, their brain suddenly starts noticing opportunities that were always there, but completely invisible to them before. A conversation at a coffee shop that leads to a business opportunity. An email in their inbox they would have deleted without reading. A chance encounter that opens an unexpected door. People on the outside call this coincidence. Some even find it a little unsettling because it challenges their understanding of how the world works. But here's the revelation that changes everything. There are no coincidences when you understand how consciousness creates reality. Florence Scovel Shinn put it perfectly when she taught that there are no mysteries when you understand spiritual law. What appears magical or mystical to someone operating from poverty consciousness is simply cause and effect to someone who understands how universal principles function. It's like gravity. It works whether you believe in it or not, whether you understand it or not. The difference is that people who understand it can work with it intentionally instead of being subject to it unconsciously. This is the hidden truth behind every self-made millionaire's story. When you read their biographies or listen to their interviews, there's always this pivotal moment, this decision point where something clicked, where their entire perspective shifted. And after that shift, opportunities began, appearing that seemed almost orchestrated. Because they were orchestrated, just not by external forces. They were orchestrated by the transformation happening in their own consciousness, which then rearranged their perception of reality itself. Now, what you're about to discover is something that billionaires have understood for decades but rarely talk about publicly. It's not a secret because they're trying to hide it. It's a secret because most people aren't ready to hear it. They're too invested in their story about why things are hard, why success is for other people, why they can't have what they want. But you're still here, which tells me you're different. You're ready for this. Shinn revealed something profound when she observed that the rich get richer because they are unafraid to spend. At first glance, this might sound like simple financial advice, but it's so much deeper than that. She wasn't talking about being reckless with money. She was describing a fundamental indifference in consciousness. Wealthy people operate from abundance. They see money as energy that flows. They're not clutching and hoarding because they trust the supply. Poverty consciousness operates from fear. It grips tightly, believes in scarcity, and ironically, that very gripping pushes abundance away. This is the journey that every person who transforms their financial reality must take. It's not about learning more strategies or finding the right opportunity. Those things matter, but they're secondary. The primary shift is internal. It's about moving from a consciousness of lack to a consciousness of abundance, from fear to trust, from believing you have to fight for scraps to understanding that there's infinite supply available to you right now. Think about the impact this has on your daily decisions. Someone operating from poverty consciousness sees a potential investment and thinks, what if I lose this money? Someone with wealth consciousness sees the same investment and thinks, what if this multiplies? Same opportunity, completely different lens. And that lens determines everything. Which actions you take, which opportunities you even notice, which doors open for you. Behind the scenes of every successful person's life, this is what's really happening. They're not special, they're not lucky, they didn't crack some external code. They shifted their internal operating system, and everything external shifted as a result. Drop "abundance is my birthright" in the comments if you're starting to see how this operates in your own life. There's a point in every transformation where you cross a threshold, a moment where you can't unsee what you've seen, can't unknow what you've learned. You're approaching that point right now, because once you truly understand how your consciousness creates your financial reality, once you recognize that you've been operating from borrowed beliefs that were never even yours to begin with, something fundamental shifts inside you. You can't go back to blaming circumstances. You can't return to the comfort of victimhood. You can't pretend that your results are happening to you rather than through you. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this when she wrote that you cannot serve God and mammon. She was pointing to a choice that every person must make. You cannot simultaneously operate from abundance consciousness and poverty consciousness. You cannot hold wealth in one hand while clutching fear in the other. You cannot declare prosperity while speaking lack. This message is forcing that choice right now. You're either going to lean into this transformation or retreat back into familiar patterns. But here's what you need to know. Even if you try to retreat, you've already changed. The seed has been planted. The awareness has been activated. The only question is whether you'll water it or try to ignore it. This is the hidden crossroads that most people never even realize they're standing at. They think transformation is something that happens gradually over time, but the real transformation happens in an instant, in a single decision to see reality differently. Everything that comes after that decision is just the manifestation of that choice playing out in physical form. The decision itself is the transformation. What follows is simply evidence. Now, I want you to do something that might seem simple, but is actually profound in its impact. I want you to create sacred space for what we're about to do together. This isn't about lighting candles or performing rituals. This is about giving yourself the gift of focused attention in a world designed to keep you distracted. Find a spot where you won't be interrupted. Turn off notifications. Close unnecessary tabs. Tell the people around you that you need a few uninterrupted minutes. This matters more than you might realize. Shinn taught that the imaging faculty plays a leading part in the game of life. Your ability to visualize, to imagine, to see in your mind's eye what hasn't yet manifested physically. This is one of your most powerful creative tools. But it requires focus. It requires presence. You cannot activate this faculty while simultaneously scrolling through social media or half listening to what I'm saying. The imaging faculty only responds to clear, focused intention. It's like trying to take a photograph with a camera that's constantly moving. You'll never get a clear picture. Behind the scenes of every major manifestation, there's always a moment of focused visualization that preceded it. Every architect sees the building before it's constructed. Every athlete visualizes the performance before executing it. Every successful person has spent time in their imagination, living in the reality they want to create, before that reality shows up in physical form. This isn't wishful thinking. This is how creation works. Thought precedes form. Consciousness precedes circumstance. Vision precedes manifestation. The journey from where you are to where you want to be begins in this sacred space of focused attention. Because what you're about to experience isn't just information, it's activation. We're going to work directly with your consciousness, with your imaging faculty, with that creative power inside you that has been dormant or misdirected for far too long. But it only works if you're truly present. If you're distracted, you'll miss it. If you're skeptical and closed, you'll block it. If you're here with genuine openness and focus, everything is about to shift. Type, "I'm present and ready" in the comments if you've created this space and you're fully here with me right now, because what comes next requires your complete attention. What you might not realize is that every small action you take is a signal, not just to the people around you, but to the universe itself about what you're ready to receive. When you make even the smallest gesture that aligns with abundance consciousness, you're creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond that single moment. This is what Shinn meant when she taught about beginning where you are. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need perfect circumstances. You start from exactly where you stand right now, and you take one aligned action. That action, no matter how small it seems, demonstrates faith. And faith is the bridge between the invisible realm of thought and the visible realm of manifestation. Think about what faith really means in this context. It's not blind belief. It's not hoping for the best while expecting the worst. Faith is acting as if the thing you desire is already yours. It's making decisions from the end result rather than from your current circumstances. When you signal your readiness to receive, whether through a physical gesture, a mental commitment, or a spoken declaration, you're essentially telling the universe, "I'm no longer resisting. I'm no longer blocking. I'm open. I'm ready. Send it to me." And the universe always responds to clarity. It responds to commitment. It responds to the energetic signature you're broadcasting. Now there's something even more powerful that happens when you move from internal awareness to external declaration. Shinn spent considerable time teaching about the power of the spoken word, and she was absolutely right when she said, "By your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned." Your words aren't just communication tools. They're creative instruments. Every time you speak, you're either building your desired reality or reinforcing your current limitations. Every statement you make is a command to your subconscious mind and a declaration to the universe about what you expect to experience. This is why declaration is so critical in the transformation process. When you state out loud or write down, "I am open to receive," you're not just expressing a hope or a wish. You're issuing a command. You're activating something at a neurological level. Your brain hears those words and begins scanning your environment for evidence that supports that statement. Your subconscious mind receives those words as instructions and starts rearranging your perceptions, your behaviors, and your decisions to align with that declaration. The universe hears those words and begins orchestrating circumstances that match that frequency. Behind the scenes of every major breakthrough, there was always a moment of declaration that preceded it. Someone stated clearly what they were ready for. They claimed it before they could see it. They spoke it into existence before it manifested in physical form. This is how creation works. Words create worlds. Your vocabulary literally shapes your reality. If you're constantly saying, "I can't afford it," guess what? You're creating more situations where you can't afford things. If you're declaring, "Money flows to me easily," you're opening channels for that exact experience. The impact of your words extends beyond just what you say out loud. The internal dialogue you have with yourself every single day is creating your reality moment by moment. Those thoughts you think on repeat, about money, about success, about what's possible for someone like you, those are declarations too. They're either opening doors or closing them. They're either expanding your reality or contracting it. And here's the fascinating part. You can change them right now. You can interrupt that old pattern and install a new one simply by choosing different words, different thoughts, different declarations. Leave "My words create my wealth" in the comments if you're starting to recognize the power you've had all along, but perhaps haven't been using intentionally. Let me clear up something that confuses a lot of people who are new to this work. This isn't about making vision boards and hoping the universe delivers what you've glued onto poster board. There's nothing wrong with vision boards. They can be useful tools, but they're not the transformation itself. What we're talking about here goes far deeper than visualization exercises or wishful thinking. This is practical metaphysics. This is about understanding the mechanics of how consciousness operates and then working with those principles intentionally. Shinn was brilliant at distinguishing between fantasy and faith. She taught that faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. Do you see the difference? Fantasy hopes something might happen. Faith operates from the certainty that it already has happened, even before physical evidence appears. This isn't delusion. It's understanding how reality works from the inside out rather than the outside in. When you truly embody this level of faith, your neural pathways literally begin rewiring themselves. Your brain starts forming new connections, new patterns, new automatic responses. What once felt impossible starts feeling inevitable. This rewiring happens at a biological level. Neuroscience has confirmed what mystics have taught for centuries. Your brain is plastic, meaning it can be reshaped. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every emotion you feel is creating and strengthening specific neural pathways. If you've spent years thinking thoughts of lack, limitation, and struggle, you've built superhighways in your brain that make those thoughts automatic. But here's the revelation. You can build new pathways. You can create new, automatic responses. You can literally rewire your brain for wealth consciousness instead of poverty consciousness. Hit that like button if this message landed for you. It helps this reach other people who are ready for this shift right now. Now, let me ask you something that will reveal exactly where you stand right now. When you think about money, not what you wish you felt, but what you actually feel in your body, what's the first emotion that arises? Is it excitement, relief, freedom, or is it anxiety, stress, fear, resentment? Be honest with yourself because this first feeling is everything. It's the signal you're broadcasting. It's the frequency you're operating on. And according to universal law, it's exactly what you're going to receive more of. Shinn identified this as absolutely crucial when she taught that you cannot attract what you condemn. Think about the profound impact of that statement. If your first feeling about money is stress, you're essentially condemning money. If you resent wealthy people, you're condemning wealth. If you believe money is the root of evil or that rich people are greedy, you're condemning the very thing you claim to want. And the universe doesn't distinguish between what you say you want and what you're actually energetically aligned with. It only responds to your true vibration, your genuine feeling, your authentic frequency. This is where most people sabotage themselves without even realizing it. They'll do affirmations and visualizations while simultaneously holding deep fear or resentment about money. They'll say they want abundance while judging people who have it. They'll claim they're ready for wealth while feeling guilty about wanting it. These mixed signals create mixed results, or more often, no results at all. The external practices don't work because the internal foundation is contradictory. The journey to wealth isn't about learning to fake positive feelings about money. It's about genuinely transforming your relationship with it. It's about healing whatever wounds or beliefs are creating that stress response. It's about recognizing that money is neutral. It's energy. It's a tool. It's amplification of who you already are. If you're kind and generous, money makes you more so. If you're fearful and controlling, money amplifies that too. The money itself isn't the problem. Your association with it is what needs to shift. Drop "I'm healing my money" story in the comments if you're recognizing patterns in your own relationship with wealth that might have been blocking your flow. Most of what you believe about money didn't come from your own experience. It came from watching your parents stress about bills, from hearing teachers say, money doesn't grow on trees, from absorbing cultural messages that equate struggle with virtue and ease with laziness. By the time you were 7 years old, you had already formed your core beliefs about money, success, and what's possible for someone like you. And here's what makes this so insidious. Those beliefs feel like truth. They feel like reality, but they're not. They're just programming. And programming can be rewritten. The scarcity programming runs deep in our culture. We're taught that there's not enough to go around, that if someone else succeeds, it means less opportunity for you, that you have to fight and claw and sacrifice to get your piece of a very limited pie. But Florence Scovel Shinn understood something that most people never grasp. She taught that there is a supply for every demand. The universe doesn't operate on scarcity. It operates on infinite abundance. There's enough air for everyone to breathe, enough sunlight for everyone to feel warmth, and yes, enough wealth for everyone who aligns themselves with prosperity consciousness. Think about the natural world for a moment. An apple tree doesn't produce just enough apples to survive. It produces an abundance of apples, more than it could ever need, because that's how nature works. Abundance is the default setting of the universe. Scarcity is a human invention, a mental construct, a belief system that gets passed down through generations and accepted as fact when it's actually just a very convincing illusion. Now, here's where ancient spiritual wisdom meets cutting-edge neuroscience in a way that's absolutely fascinating. Your brain, this incredible 3-pound universe between your ears, cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and an actual physical experience. When you imagine something with enough detail, emotion, and sensory richness, your brain fires the exact same neural pathways as if you were actually living that experience. Athletes have known this for decades. They mentally rehearse their performances, and their bodies respond as if they're actually competing. The muscles fire, the neural connections strengthen, the brain prepares for success. This scientific reality validates exactly what Shinn taught when she said, "Every great work, every big accomplishment has been brought into manifestation through holding to the vision." She understood that vision isn't passive daydreaming. Vision is active creation. When you hold a clear, detailed, emotionally charged vision of prosperity, your brain begins reorganizing itself to make that vision reality. It starts noticing opportunities it previously filtered out. It generates ideas it couldn't access before. It motivates you to take actions you wouldn't have considered. Behind the scenes of every major achievement, there's always a period where the achiever lived in their imagination first. They saw it so clearly, felt it so completely, that their brain accepted it as real and began working to close the gap between imagination and manifestation. This isn't metaphysical fantasy. This is how your nervous system operates. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information, can only show you what it thinks is relevant to you. If you've programmed it to look for scarcity and struggle, that's all you'll see. But when you reprogram it through vivid, consistent visualization of abundance, suddenly you start noticing opportunities everywhere. The transformation happens when you realize you're not at the mercy of external circumstances. You're the creator of your experience through the thoughts you think and the visions you hold. Write, "I am the creator," in the comments, if this is clicking for you right now. When you consistently visualize success, not just once or twice, but as a daily practice, something remarkable happens at a neurological level. Your brain begins treating that vision as a destination it needs to reach. It's like programming a GPS. Once you've entered the coordinates, your brain automatically starts calculating routes, identifying landmarks, and alerting you when to turn. You become magnetic to the very thing you've been envisioning. Opportunities that were always present suddenly become visible. Conversations that would have passed you by suddenly catch your attention. Decisions that once seemed risky suddenly feel like obvious next steps. Shinn called this preparing for your good. You're not manifesting something out of thin air. You're aligning yourself with what already exists in the field of infinite possibility. You're tuning your frequency to match the frequency of abundance. And when those frequencies align, connection is inevitable. It's like tuning a radio. Once you hit the right station, the music comes through clearly. You don't create the music, you just align yourself to receive it. This is the hidden mechanism behind what people call lucky breaks, or being in the right place at the right time. There's no such thing as luck in this context. There's only alignment. There's only preparedness meeting opportunity. And that preparedness happens first in your imagination, in your vision, in the mental rehearsal you do long before the physical manifestation appears. Now let me say something that might sting a little bit, but it's essential that you hear this. Your current bank account, whatever number is sitting there right now, is not a reflection of your worth, your intelligence, or your potential. It's simply a reflection of your old programming. It's yesterday's thoughts made visible. It's last month's consciousness solidified into form. Every financial decision you've made, every opportunity you've noticed or missed, every action you've taken or avoided, all of it came from the programming running in the background of your mind. Here's the liberation in understanding this. If your current circumstances are just old programming manifesting, that means you can change them by installing new programming. Shinn taught this beautifully when she said, "You can control any situation if you first control yourself." You don't need to control the economy, the job market, other people, or external circumstances. You need to control your thoughts, your beliefs, your vision, your frequency. Everything external shifts when the internal shifts first. Think about the impact of really absorbing this truth. It means you're not stuck. It means your current situation isn't permanent. It means that the financial struggle you might be experiencing right now is just the manifestation of outdated programming that you can update starting today. The journey from financial stress to financial freedom begins the moment you take responsibility for the programming running your life and make the decision to rewrite it. This isn't about blame or shame. You didn't consciously choose limiting beliefs about money when you were a child. You absorbed them from your environment. But now, as an adult with awareness and understanding, you can choose different beliefs. You can install new programming. You can create new neural pathways. You can shift your consciousness from lack to abundance, from fear to trust, from struggle to ease. Behind the scenes of your life, there's always been this creative power waiting to be directed consciously rather than unconsciously. Most people go their entire lives letting their childhood programming run the show, wondering why nothing changes. But you're here, which means you're ready for something different. You're ready to take the driver's seat. You're ready to become the conscious creator of your financial reality instead of the unconscious victim of circumstance. Type, "I'm rewriting my code" in the comments if you're ready to install new programming and let the old patterns dissolve. Here's what most people get completely wrong about money. They see it as this tangible, solid thing, paper bills, metal coins, numbers in an account. But that's just the physical representation. Money, at its core, is energy. It's a flowing force that moves through the world, seeking channels that are open, receptive, and aligned. When you start relating to money as energy rather than as a scarce resource to be hoarded, your entire experience with it transforms. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this at a profound level when she wrote that money is God in manifestation, as freedom from want and limitation. She wasn't being metaphorical. She was describing the true nature of money as a spiritual force, as divine energy taking form. When you treat money with reverence, with gratitude, with the understanding that it's a tool for expressing your values and expanding your impact in the world, it responds. Energy always moves toward appreciation and away from resentment. Think about how energy works in every other context. Water flows, electricity flows, love flows. All energy seeks movement, circulation, expression. Money is no different. When you grip it tightly out of fear, you're blocking the flow. When you condemn it as evil or dirty, you're closing yourself off from it. But when you respect it, appreciate it, and allow it to flow through your life, both receiving and giving, you become a conduit for its movement rather than a dam blocking its natural course. Now, pay attention to this because it reveals the fundamental difference between people who struggle with money and people who have abundance. Wealthy people don't chase money. They don't scramble. They don't operate from desperation. They attract money because they're ready for it. They've prepared themselves internally first. Their consciousness is aligned with abundance. Their beliefs support wealth. Their self-concept includes prosperity as a natural state. And so money flows to them as naturally as water flows downhill. Shinn captured this perfectly with her principle that a rich thought attracts riches. It's not about positive thinking in some superficial way. It's about genuinely embodying wealth consciousness before the wealth appears. It's about preparation happening in consciousness before manifestation occurs in form. This is why affirmations alone don't work. You can repeat, "I am wealthy," 10,000 times, but if your consciousness is still vibrating at the frequency of poverty, nothing shifts. The words have to match the feeling, the declaration has to match the belief, the vision has to match the self-concept. Behind the scenes of every wealthy person's life, there was a period where they aligned their internal reality with abundance before their external reality caught up. They made decisions as if they were already prosperous. They carried themselves with the energy of success before they had evidence of it. They invested in themselves when logic said they couldn't afford to. They acted from the end result rather than from current circumstances. This is the journey that separates those who transform their financial reality from those who stay stuck. It's not about working harder. It's not about finding the right opportunity. Those things matter, but they're secondary. The primary shift is energetic. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts wealth because their frequency matches it. It's about preparing yourself in consciousness so completely that when the opportunity arrives, you're ready to recognize it and capable of receiving it. The impact of this understanding cannot be overstated. When you realize that money is energy-seeking open channels, you stop begging for it and start preparing to receive it. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop trying to force outcomes and start aligning with flow. Leave "I am a channel for abundance" in the comments if you're feeling this energetic shift happening right now. Right now, at this very moment, millions of dollars are changing hands across the globe. Deals are being closed. Investments are paying off. Businesses are generating revenue. Salaries are being deposited. Inheritances are being transferred. Money is in constant motion, flowing like an invisible river that never stops. This isn't happening somewhere far away in some abstract realm. This is happening right now, in real time, while you're reading these words. The abundance is already here. The supply is infinite. The question isn't whether there's enough money in circulation. The question is, are you positioned to catch any of it? Florence Scovel Shinn taught that there is a supply for every demand. She wasn't talking about supply in some future state or in some theoretical universe. She meant right now, in this moment. The supply exists. It's circulating. It's flowing. Your demand, your desire, your need, your vision of prosperity, has a corresponding supply that's already moving toward you. But here's where most people block themselves. They're not positioned to receive it. They're standing with their hands in their pockets, wondering why nothing is landing in their lap. They're facing the wrong direction while opportunity flows past them. Positioning isn't about your physical location, though that can matter. Positioning is primarily about your mental and energetic stance. It's about where you're placing your attention. It's about what frequency you're broadcasting. It's about whether you're open or closed, receptive or resistant, aligned or misaligned. You could be standing in a room full of millionaires with incredible opportunities all around you. But if your consciousness is vibrating at the frequency of unworthiness or scarcity, you won't notice them. Or if you do notice them, you won't feel capable of seizing them. Shinn posed a crucial question that everyone needs to answer. Honestly, are you living in the land of limitation or the land of abundance? This isn't asking where you physically reside. This is asking where you mentally reside. What country does your consciousness occupy? Because here's the hidden truth. There are two completely different worlds existing simultaneously in the same space. One is the land of limitation, where there's never enough, where you have to fight for scraps, where success is for other people, where dreams are impractical. The other is the land of abundance, where infinite supply exists, where opportunities are everywhere, where you're worthy of prosperity, where your dreams are valid and achievable. The fascinating part is that both lands show you evidence to support their reality. If you're living in limitation, you'll see lack everywhere. You'll notice every bill, every problem, every person who has more than you. Your brain will filter reality to confirm your belief. But if you're living in abundance, you'll see opportunity everywhere. You'll notice synchronicities, possibilities, resources you didn't see before. Same physical world, completely different experience based on mental positioning. Behind the scenes of every financial transformation, there's always a moment when someone made the conscious decision to move from the land of limitation to the land of abundance. They didn't wait for circumstances to change. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait until they felt ready. They simply decided to change their mental address, and everything external shifted as a result. This decision, this repositioning, is available to you right now. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need external validation. You just need to claim it. The impact of this repositioning happens immediately in consciousness, even though the physical evidence might take time to catch up. But the moment you shift your mental position, you've changed what you're magnetizing. You've altered your frequency. You've opened channels that were previously closed. Type, I choose abundance, if you're making that decision right now to shift your positioning. What I'm about to guide you through isn't just a relaxation technique. This is the gateway to activating your creative power. Most people are operating in a constant state of tension without even realizing it. There's this low-level anxiety humming in the background, worrying about bills, stressing about the future, replaying past financial mistakes. And that tension is like static interference, blocking the signal between your consciousness and the abundance trying to reach you. Florence Scovel Shinn understood something profound when she taught that perfect relaxation and peace pave the way for every right action. She wasn't suggesting you need to be calm and peaceful all the time. She was pointing to a fundamental principle of manifestation. Tension blocks, relaxation allows. When your body is tight and your mind is racing, you're in survival mode. And survival mode is designed to keep you safe, not to help you thrive. It's designed to maintain the status quo, not to open you to new possibilities. So before we can activate your imaging faculty, your creative power, we need to release that tension. Take a moment right now. If you're able to, close your eyes. If you're driving or in a situation where you can't close them, that's fine. Just soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs completely. Hold it for a moment. Now release it slowly through your mouth. Do that again. Breathe in deeply, hold, and release. One more time. Feel your shoulders dropping. Feel your jaw unclenching. Feel your body beginning to recognize that right now, in this moment, you're safe. You're allowed to relax. You're allowed to let go. Now, with your eyes still closed or softened, I want you to engage your imagination. This is your imaging faculty, the most powerful creative tool you possess. Imagine a warm, golden light beginning to form above your head. This isn't just any light. This is the light of pure abundance, of infinite possibility, of prosperity in all its forms. See it glowing, warm, radiant, magnetic. This golden light represents everything you've been asking for: financial freedom, opportunities, connections, resources, security, joy. It's all contained in this luminous field of energy. Watch as this golden light begins to descend, surrounding your entire body like a warm blanket on a cold night. Feel it touching the top of your head first, spreading warmth and peace, then flowing down over your face, your neck, your shoulders. It's washing away every limiting belief you've ever held about money. It's dissolving every fear, every doubt, every story about why you can't have what you want. Feel this light moving down your arms, your torso, your legs, all the way to your feet. You're completely enveloped now in this field of abundant energy. This technique embodies what Shinn taught when she said, "The imaging faculty is the creative faculty." You're not just visualizing for the sake of feeling good, though that's valuable too. You're literally creating your prosperity field right now. You're activating neural pathways. You're shifting your frequency. You're programming your subconscious mind to recognize abundance as your natural state. Behind the scenes of your consciousness, something is shifting. Your brain is beginning to accept this vision as reality. And once your brain accepts something as real, it starts orchestrating your external world to match. The journey from where you are to where you want to be always begins here, in this space of relaxed focus, where imagination meets intention, where vision becomes the blueprint for manifestation. Drop "I am surrounded by abundance" in the comments if you can feel this golden light activating something within you right now. What you're visualizing right now goes far deeper than just dollar bills appearing in your bank account. This golden light, this field of abundance you're wrapped in, represents total prosperity. It's not just money, though money is certainly included. It's the perfect job opportunity that shows up out of nowhere. It's the person you meet who becomes a valuable connection. It's the idea that strikes you in the shower that could change everything. It's the health, the relationships, the creativity, the freedom, the joy. True abundance encompasses every area of life. And when you limit your vision to just financial wealth, you're actually restricting the flow. Florence Scovel Shinn taught this comprehensively when she wrote, "Your word is your wand." She wasn't telling you to just say magic words and watch money appear. She was teaching that your creative power, your ability to command reality, works through your declarations and your visions. When you speak and visualize total prosperity, when you see yourself thriving in every dimension of life, you're wielding your wand. You're directing creative energy. You're giving instructions to the universe about what you're ready to receive. This is the hidden mechanism behind why some people seem to have everything work out for them, while others struggle in multiple areas simultaneously. It's not luck. It's not privilege, though that can play a role. It's consciousness creating across all dimensions at once. Someone with poverty consciousness experiences lack everywhere. In money, in relationships, in health, in opportunities. Someone with abundance consciousness experiences overflow everywhere. Same world, completely different experience based on the internal programming running the show. Now, as you continue to visualize this golden light surrounding you, I want you to feel something shift. This isn't just light. It's magnetic. Feel it beginning to function like a powerful magnetic field wrapping around your entire body, your entire energy field, your entire being. This magnetic blanket is attracting everything you need toward you right now. Opportunities are being pulled into your orbit. The right people are being drawn to you. Resources are finding their way to you through channels you haven't even considered yet. Shinn revealed something crucial when she wrote, "Man attracts what he loves. Not what he wants, not what he needs, what he loves." This is why affirmations that feel forced don't work. This is why visualization without genuine emotion falls flat. You cannot attract something you resent, fear, or feel ambivalent about. But when you generate authentic love, genuine appreciation, real gratitude, heartfelt desire for abundance in all its forms, you become irresistibly magnetic to it. The universe doesn't respond to your words alone. It responds to the feeling behind the words, the energy fueling the vision. Behind the scenes of every major manifestation, there's always this element of genuine love and appreciation for what's being called forth. People who successfully manifest wealth genuinely love money, not in a greedy way, but in an appreciative way. They love what money represents: freedom, options, impact, security, generosity. They love the feeling of abundance. They love the energy of prosperity. And that love creates an irresistible magnetic pull. The transformation from struggling to thriving happens when you shift from tolerating or resenting money to genuinely loving and appreciating it. When you shift from viewing abundance as something external, you're chasing to recognizing it as your natural state that you're simply allowing. Feel that magnetic pull growing stronger now, drawing everything you need closer to you with every breath. Write, "Abundance loves me," in the comments if you're feeling this magnetic shift activating within you. As you continue holding this vision of yourself wrapped in this magnetic golden light, I want you to see something happening. Watch as everything you've been needing, not just wanting, but truly needing, begins moving toward you. See opportunities starting to shift in your direction, like iron filings drawn to a magnet. Feel resources beginning their journey toward you, from places you haven't even imagined yet. Visualize the right information, landing in your awareness at exactly the right moment. This isn't fantasy. This is Florence Scovel Shinn's law of attraction in action. Like attracts like in the spiritual realm. The frequency you're broadcasting right now, this energy of abundance, worthiness, and receptivity, is calling forth matching experiences from the field of infinite possibility. This is how reality actually works, even though most people never tap into this mechanism. They're broadcasting one frequency while hoping for something that exists on a completely different frequency. It's like trying to tune into a jazz station while your radio is set to classical. It simply won't work. But when you align your frequency with what you desire, when you become a vibrational match to prosperity, the universe has no choice but to deliver it to you. It's not magical thinking. It's spiritual law functioning with the same reliability as gravity or magnetism. Now, as you deepen into this visualization, I want you to see something specific beginning to manifest. See the right people starting to appear in your life. Maybe it's someone who has the exact expertise you need. Maybe it's a potential business partner whose skills perfectly complement yours. Maybe it's a mentor who sees your potential and opens doors you didn't even know existed. Maybe it's a client or customer who's been searching for exactly what you offer. Watch these people beginning to move into your orbit, drawn by the same magnetic field that's surrounding you right now. Shinn made a powerful promise when she taught about divine selection. She understood that the universe doesn't work randomly. There's an intelligence orchestrating connections, arranging encounters, setting up synchronicities. That seemed too perfect to be coincidental. But here's the key. This divine orchestration only works when you're aligned with your good. When you're vibrating at the frequency of worthiness, abundance, and receptivity, the universe can arrange the perfect people and circumstances for you. When you're stuck in fear, doubt, or unworthiness, you block that divine selection process. Behind the scenes of every successful person's journey, there are always these pivotal connections that seem to happen by chance, but were actually divinely orchestrated. The conversation at a conference that led to a partnership. The person they sat next to on a plane who became their biggest investor. The chance meeting at a coffee shop that changed everything. These weren't accidents. These were divine appointments that happened because these individuals were aligned with their good, broadcasting the right frequency, positioned to receive what the universe was trying to deliver. The impact of understanding. This changes how you move through the world. You start paying attention to nudges. You follow intuitive hits to go somewhere or reach out to someone. You trust that the people showing up in your life right now are there for a reason. You stop forcing connections and start allowing divine selection to work its magic. See yourself now as someone the universe is working on behalf of, orchestrating perfect timing, perfect meetings, perfect opportunities. Leave divine timing is perfect in the comments if you trust this orchestration is happening for you right now. While you're holding this vision of abundance flowing toward you, I want you to open your mind to something that most people completely miss. Money is going to come to you through channels you expect. Maybe a raise at work, maybe a new client, maybe a business opportunity you've been working on. But here's where it gets really interesting. Money is also going to flow to you through channels you never anticipated. A refund you forgot about. An opportunity that comes through a random conversation. An inheritance from a distant relative. A skill you have that someone desperately needs and is willing to pay premium prices for. The universe has infinite creativity in how it delivers your good to you. Florence Scovel Shinn warned strongly against what she called outlining. This is when you get so fixated on exactly how your abundance must arrive that you actually block all the other pathways trying to open for you. You decide it has to come through your job, so you miss the business opportunity. You decide it has to come through this one specific deal, so you ignore 3 other possibilities knocking on your door. You're so busy staring at the door you think will open that you don't notice the windows, the skylights, the secret passages that the universe is creating for you. This is one of the most common ways people sabotage their own manifestations. They pray for abundance, then they get very specific about the exact mechanism through which it must arrive. They're essentially telling the infinite creative universe, I only trust you to deliver my good in this one narrow way. And the universe, respecting your free will and your beliefs, honors that limitation. But when you release the how, when you simply maintain the vision of the what while staying open to infinite possibilities for delivery, you remove the barriers you've been unconsciously erecting. Think about the hidden opportunities you've probably already missed because they didn't look like what you expected. The person who tried to connect with you, but you dismissed them because they didn't seem important. The idea that came to you, but you ignored it because it wasn't part of your plan. The path that opened, but you didn't take it because you were waiting for a different path. Behind the scenes of your life, the universe has likely been trying to deliver your good to you in multiple ways, but you've been too focused on the one way you decided it should come. Shinn put it perfectly when she wrote, "The how is none of your business. Your job, your only job, is alignment and readiness. You align your consciousness with abundance. You prepare yourself to receive. You stay open, alert, and responsive. But you do not need to figure out the mechanism. You do not need to orchestrate the details. You do not need to control the process. In fact, trying to control the how actually slows down or blocks the manifestation. Because you're operating from fear and lack of trust rather than faith and receptivity. The transformation from struggling to receive to allowing abundance to flow happens when you release your grip on how it must happen. When you stop micromanaging the universe and start trusting the intelligence that orchestrates galaxies and seasons and the beating of your heart. That same intelligence knows exactly how to get your abundance to you. Your resistance to trusting that process is often the only thing standing between you and the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Drop "I trust the process" in the comments if you're ready to release the how and simply focus on alignment. What I'm about to share with you is the missing piece that keeps so many people stuck in perpetual waiting mode. They've done the visualization. They've shifted their mindset. They've aligned their consciousness with abundance, but nothing seems to be happening. Here's what they're missing. Alignment without readiness is incomplete. You can be perfectly tuned to the frequency of abundance, but if you're not prepared to act when the door opens, the opportunity passes you by, and find someone who is ready. Florence Scovel Shinn captured this beautifully in one of her most powerful affirmations: Infinite Spirit, open the way for my great abundance. Notice she's not just asking for abundance to appear magically. She's asking for the way to be opened, for the path to become visible, for the door to swing wide. But implicit in that prayer is the understanding that once the way opens, you have to walk through it. Once the door swings open, you have to step through. Preparation meets opportunity in perfect timing, but only if you're actually prepared and willing to move. This is where the journey separates dreamers from manifestors. Dreamers stay comfortable in the visualization phase. They love thinking about abundance, talking about it, planning for it someday. But when the actual opportunity shows up, when they need to invest in themselves, take a calculated risk, have an uncomfortable conversation, step outside their comfort zone, they freeze. They're not ready. And the universe, seeing that they're not ready to receive, redirects that opportunity to someone who is. Behind the scenes of every success story, there's always this moment of decisive action. The opportunity presented itself, and the person said yes, even though they were scared. They moved, even though they didn't have all the answers. They trusted enough to take the leap. That's what being ready means. It doesn't mean having perfect confidence or complete certainty. It means being willing to act when your moment arrives. Now, I need you to hear something that might challenge everything you've been taught about worthiness. You are worthy of wealth right now. Not when you work harder, not when you prove yourself, not when you overcome all your flaws or heal all your wounds. Right now, exactly as you are worthy of abundance, freedom, and prosperity. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this at the deepest level when she declared, "You are a perfect idea in divine mind. You were created worthy. Your worthiness isn't something you earn through suffering or sacrifice. It's inherent to your existence." The transformation happens when you stop trying to become worthy and start accepting that you already are. This is the hidden block for so many people. They're subconsciously believing they need to prove themselves deserving before abundance can come. They're operating from unworthiness while trying to manifest wealth. It's like trying to drive with the parking brake on. You might move forward a little, but there's constant resistance holding you back. Your worthiness isn't determined by your past mistakes, your current bank account, your education level, your family background, or anything external. Those are all circumstances. Your worthiness is spiritual. It's fundamental. It's unchangeable. When you truly absorb this truth, when you feel it in your bones, everything shifts. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop playing small because you've accepted that you're meant for greatness. Write, "I am inherently worthy" in the comments if this truth is landing in your heart right now. Now, I want to introduce you to something that goes beyond regular affirmations or positive thinking. These are what I call wealth activation commands. They're not suggestions. They're not hopes. They're direct instructions to your subconscious mind, designed with surgical precision to install new programming at the deepest level of your consciousness. Florence Scovel Shinn pioneered this approach with what she called affirmative prayer. She understood that your word is your wand, that when you speak with authority, with certainty, with the understanding that you're commanding reality rather than begging for it, something shifts instantaneously. These commands are different from the affirmations most people use because they're structured to activate rather than convince. You're not trying to talk yourself into believing something. You're issuing a directive. You're declaring what is, not what you hope will be. There's a power in that distinction that most people completely miss. When you say, "I want to be wealthy," you're affirming the lack. When you command, "I am wealthy," you're activating a reality that exists. In consciousness first, before it manifests in form. Think about how you speak to yourself throughout the day. Most people are issuing commands to their subconscious constantly, but they're the wrong commands. I can't afford that. That's not for people like me. I'm terrible with money. These are commands too, and your subconscious is faithfully executing them, creating evidence in your external world that matches those internal declarations. What we're doing here is interrupting that pattern and installing new commands that serve your highest good instead of reinforcing limitation. Here's what makes these particular commands so effective. They're designed to bypass your conscious doubt and speak directly to your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is the gatekeeper, the skeptic, the part of you that says, "This won't work," or "I've tried this before." But these commands are structured to slip past that gatekeeper and reach the deeper levels of consciousness where real transformation happens. Shinn understood this when she taught about the superconscious mind is the realm of perfect ideas. She knew there's a part of you that exists beyond doubt, beyond fear, beyond limiting beliefs. And that's the part we're activating right now. Behind the scenes of your consciousness, there are multiple layers operating simultaneously. Your conscious mind is processing these words, maybe agreeing, maybe doubting. But your subconscious mind, which controls 95% of your behaviors, decisions, and perceptions, is absorbing these commands at a deeper level. And your superconscious mind, that connection to infinite intelligence, is recognizing these words as truth and beginning to orchestrate circumstances that match them. The impact of this multi-layered programming is profound. You don't need to believe these commands with your conscious mind for them to work. In fact, your conscious doubt is irrelevant. What matters is repetition, emotion, and receptivity. When you hear these commands repeatedly, when you allow them to wash over you without resistance, when you feel into them rather than analyze them, they begin installing themselves as your new operating system. The transformation happens not because you forced yourself to believe something, but because you allowed new programming to replace old programming at a level deeper than conscious thought. Type, "I receive these commands," in the comments if you're ready to let these wealth activation statements penetrate beyond your doubt and into the core of your being where true change occurs. I want you to say something out loud right now, or if you can't speak, say it firmly in your mind. I am now letting go of every limiting thought about money that has ever held me back. Feel those words. Don't just say them mechanically. Feel the release happening. Every fear you've carried about not having enough. Every belief that you're not good with money. Every story about how hard it is to get ahead. Every judgment you've made about wealthy people. Every resentment about someone else's success. All of it. Let it go right now. Florence Scovel Shinn taught something that most people overlook because it sounds too simple. She said, resentment, criticism, and condemnation block the channels of supply. Think about what that means. Every time you resent someone for having more than you, you're literally blocking abundance from reaching you. Every time you criticize the rich or condemn wealth itself, you're shutting down the very channels through which your prosperity needs to flow. This is why release must precede reception. You cannot hold on to bitterness and receive abundance simultaneously. They cannot coexist in the same space. The hidden truth is that most people are walking around with clenched fists, energetically gripping their resentments, their limiting beliefs, their old stories about money, while simultaneously asking the universe to fill their hands with abundance. It's impossible. You have to open your hands. You have to release what you're holding before you can receive what's trying to come to you. This isn't about forgiveness for other people's benefit. This is about your freedom. This is about clearing the pathway so your good can reach you. Now, declare this next command with even more power. My mind is now wired for abundance. Money flows to me easily. Feel the shift happening in your neural pathways right now. Your brain is literally beginning to form new connections as you speak these words with intention. You're overwriting years of scarcity programming with a new operating system designed for prosperity. This mirrors what Shinn taught when she would affirm, infinite spirit, Give me a definite lead. Let me know if there is anything for me to do. She understood that once your mind is wired correctly, the right actions become obvious. The right opportunities become visible. The path forward reveals itself naturally. Behind the scenes of this transformation, something remarkable is occurring. Your nervous system is responding to these commands. Your subconscious mind is accepting new instructions. Your superconscious mind is aligning with these declarations and beginning to orchestrate circumstances that match this new frequency. You're not the same person you were when you started reading this. The journey from poverty consciousness to prosperity consciousness isn't some long, arduous path that takes decades. It can happen in moments, in the space between one breath and the next, when you genuinely release what no longer serves you and declare what you're now ready to receive. The impact of this rewiring extends into every area of your life. When your mind is wired for abundance, you start making different decisions. You notice different opportunities. You attract different people. You take actions that previously seemed too risky or too bold. Not because you've become someone else, but because you've removed the limitations that were blocking the fullest expression of who you've always been. Drop "My mind is rewired" in the comments if you can feel this transformation taking root inside you right now. Speak this next command with absolute conviction. I am a magnet for money-making opportunities. Don't just say the words. Feel them creating a shift in your energy field right now. You're not hoping to attract opportunities. You're not wishing they'll come. You're declaring yourself as a magnet, which means opportunities have no choice but to move toward you. They're pulled into your orbit by the force of your magnetic field. Florence Scovel Shinn revealed something profound when she wrote, "Man magnetizes conditions or people through his feelings. Not through his thoughts alone. Not through his actions alone. Through his feelings." This is the hidden variable that most people miss entirely. You can think positive thoughts all day long, but if underneath those thoughts you're feeling unworthy, anxious, or desperate, you're magnetizing from that emotional frequency. Your feelings are the true magnetic force. They're broadcasting a signal into the field, and the field responds by sending you experiences that match that signal. Think about the last time you felt genuinely abundant, even for just a moment. Maybe you got an unexpected check. Maybe someone treated you to a nice meal. Maybe you felt financially secure for no particular reason. What happened next? More opportunities showed up. More money found its way to you. That's because your feeling state in that moment created a magnetic field that attracted matching experiences. The universe wasn't rewarding you for feeling good. It was simply responding to the frequency you were broadcasting. This is why gratitude is so powerful. Not gratitude as a technique, but genuine appreciation for what you already have. When you feel genuinely grateful, you're broadcasting abundance, and abundance attracts more abundance. When you feel lack, even while doing affirmations, you're broadcasting scarcity, and scarcity attracts more scarcity. Your emotional state is either opening channels or closing them, pulling opportunities toward you or pushing them away. Now declare this with even more power. I deserve to be wealthy. I have value to offer the world. Let that sink all the way in. You're not just capable of wealth, you deserve it. This isn't arrogance, this is truth. Shinn affirmed this beautifully when she said, I have a perfect work in a perfect way. I give perfect service for perfect pay. She understood that deservingness is the foundation of all manifestation. If you don't feel you deserve abundance, you'll sabotage every opportunity that comes your way. You'll undercharge for your services. You'll accept less than your worth. You'll unconsciously create circumstances that confirm your unworthiness. Behind the scenes of every person struggling financially, there's almost always a deep-seated belief that they don't deserve more. Maybe they feel guilty about past mistakes. Maybe they absorbed messages that wanting wealth is greedy or shallow. Maybe they believe they need to suffer to be virtuous. These beliefs operate like invisible force fields, repelling the very abundance that's trying to reach them. The transformation happens when you recognize that your value isn't determined by external validation. You have inherent worth simply by existing. The gifts you have, the perspective you offer, the service you provide, these have value, and you deserve to be compensated abundantly for that value. Not someday when you're perfect, not after you've proven yourself. Right now. Write, "I deserve abundance" in the comments if you're claiming your worthiness in this moment. Declare this now with full certainty. Money comes to me from places I expect and places I never saw coming. Open your awareness to the infinite creativity of the universe. You might be working on one income source, right now, focused on one path, but abundance is trying to reach you through multiple channels simultaneously. An old investment that suddenly pays off. A skill you forgot you had that someone desperately needs. A connection from years ago that resurfaces with an opportunity. A business idea that downloads into your consciousness seemingly out of nowhere. This is what Shinn meant when she taught about unexpected channels. The universe doesn't limit itself to the one obvious path you're focused on. It has infinite ways to deliver your good to you. But most people block these unexpected channels because they're so fixated on how they think prosperity should arrive. They're waiting for the promotion while ignoring the side opportunity. They're focused on one client while 3 others are trying to reach them. They're so convinced their abundance must come through door number 1 that they don't notice doors 2 through 10 standing wide open. The hidden truth about wealth is that rich people rarely have just one income stream. They have multiple channels through which money flows to them. Not because they're working harder than everyone else, but because they're open to multiple channels. They don't put all their eggs in one basket. They don't limit the universe's ability to surprise them. They stay alert, receptive, and ready to move when unexpected opportunities present themselves. Behind the scenes of financial freedom, there's always this element of flexibility and openness. The journey isn't about finding one perfect opportunity and riding it forever. It's about creating multiple streams, staying open to unexpected paths, and trusting that the universe is more creative than your limited human imagination could ever be. Now speak this command and really feel it reshaping your identity. I think like a millionaire. I act like a millionaire. This isn't about faking it or pretending to be something you're not. This is about embodying the consciousness of wealth right now, before the physical evidence appears. Shinn taught this transformational principle when she said, "Act as if I am and I will be." She understood that you don't become wealthy and then start thinking wealthy thoughts. You start thinking wealthy thoughts, and that consciousness creates the conditions for wealth to manifest. Millionaire consciousness operates differently than poverty consciousness. A millionaire sees an investment opportunity and thinks about potential returns. Someone with poverty consciousness sees the same opportunity and thinks about what they might lose. A millionaire believes in abundance and expects success. Someone with scarcity mindset expects limitation and fears failure. Same world, completely different lens, and that lens determines everything: which actions you take, which opportunities you notice, which doors open for you. The transformation happens when you stop waiting for external circumstances to change before you shift your internal identity. You claim millionaire consciousness now. You make decisions from that place now. You carry yourself with that energy now. And as you do, your external reality begins rearranging itself to match your internal state. Drop "I embody wealth" in the comments if you're stepping into this millionaire consciousness right now, regardless of what your bank account currently shows. Speak this declaration with absolute knowing. I am connected to the endless supply of the universe. Feel that connection activating right now. You're not separate from abundance. You're not cut off from prosperity. You're plugged into an infinite source that never runs dry, never depletes, never stops flowing. Florence Scovel Shinn's core teaching was simple but revolutionary. God is my unfailing supply. She understood that the universe, call it God, source, divine intelligence, whatever resonates with you, operates on infinite abundance, not finite resources. Think about what endless supply actually means. It means there's no competition. It means someone else's success doesn't diminish your potential. It means the well never runs dry. It means you're not drawing from a limited pool that could be exhausted. You're connected to the same source that creates galaxies, that orchestrates the seasons, that grows forests from single seeds. That creative power is available to you right now, in this moment, not someday in some distant future. This is where most people sabotage their manifestations, without realizing it. They accept the idea of abundance intellectually, but they live as if resources are limited. They hoard instead of circulate. They compete instead of collaborate. They believe that if they don't grab their piece now, someone else will take it. But that's poverty consciousness masquerading as wisdom. When you truly understand that you're connected to endless supply, you relax, you trust. You give generously because you know more is always coming. Now, declare this final. Command with every ounce of conviction you possess. My financial breakthrough is happening right now, not tomorrow, not next month, not when the conditions are perfect. Right now, in this very moment. Shinn declared with power, "This is the day which the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." She was pointing to the eternal now, the only moment where manifestation actually occurs. Your prosperity doesn't exist in some distant future you're working toward. It exists now in consciousness. The breakthrough you've been waiting for is happening in this moment as you shift your awareness, as you release limitation, as you claim your worthiness, as you align with abundance. The physical evidence will follow, but the actual transformation, the real breakthrough, is occurring right now as you read these words and feel something fundamental shifting inside you. Behind the scenes of time itself, there's only now. The past is memory. The future is imagination. This present moment is where all power resides. This is where creation happens. This is where you command reality and reality responds. When you truly grasp this, when you stop postponing your prosperity to some future date and claim it now, everything accelerates. The universe responds to present tense declarations, not future tense hopes. The journey you've been on through this entire message has been leading to this moment of recognition. You already have everything you need. The consciousness of wealth is already yours. The connection to infinite supply is already established. The only thing that ever stood between you and abundance was the belief that you were separate from it. And that belief just dissolved. Right. It is happening now in the comments if you feel this shift completing itself inside you in this very moment. You made it all the way through. That's significant. Not everyone has the attention span or the genuine desire for transformation to stay present through an entire journey. Like this. The fact that you're still here tells me something about you. You're serious about this shift. You're not just consuming content for entertainment. You're actively participating in your own evolution. If this message resonated with you, if you felt something shift inside you as we moved through these principles together, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I create content like this regularly, deep dives into consciousness, manifestation, and the practical application of spiritual principles for real-world results. Having you as part of this community means we get to continue this conversation, and honestly, that matters to me. This isn't just about broadcasting information. It's about building a community of people who are genuinely committed to transforming their relationship with abundance. And leave a comment right now saying, "This message was meant for me," if you feel like the universe orchestrated you finding this video at exactly the right time. I read every comment, and there's something powerful about declaring your intention publicly. It locks in the shift that just occurred. Hit the like button too, because that simple gesture helps this message reach other people who need to hear it. Someone out there is struggling with the exact limiting beliefs we just addressed, and your engagement helps connect them with this content. Now, there's a video right here that takes what we just covered and shows you the practical next steps. How to actually embody this new consciousness in your daily decisions and actions. Click and continue with me over there. Your transformation doesn't end here. It's just beginning.